Why don't we open it up with a prayer this morning or this afternoon? Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless those who are here and mourn today for the loss of Randy. I lift up this celebration to you, and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. First, I want to thank you all for coming. I will tell you now that this is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So if I have to pause for a second, please bear with me. To Randy's family, Vanessa, Randy's wife, Dwayne and Mickey, Randy's mom and dad, Randy's children, Christina and John, Randy's brother Larry. My deepest heartfelt sympathy goes out to you. The loss of Randy will truly be a missing part of your life. From my own experience with the loss of family members, I can say, you will never forget this. However, the memories of Randy will always be with you. I'll also say that all good memories with him will be in the forefront. Today we're going to light a white candle in honor of Randy, as requested by Dwayne and Mickey Byers, Randy's mom. The candle will burn again in honor of Randy during the service. Larry, Randy's brother, is lighting the candle. What I'm going to read now is actually the account from Randy's mom and dad of Randy's life. This is the account of Randy Lee Byers, as remembered by Dwayne and Mickey Byers, Randy's mother and father. Randy was born on October 10th, 1959 in El Centro, California. He was an energetic child and seeming always into mischief. Randy suffered from bronchial asthma soon after birth and spent a lot of time in the hospital fighting pneumonia, but he was always happy and playful. After battling Randy's condition for about 2.5 years, the doctor said we had to leave Imperial Valley as soon as possible or Randy would not survive. That was on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and Dad went back to the airline where he worked and asked for a transfer to Prescott, Arizona, which was a noted asthma-free climate. The okay came on Friday, and on Monday we were in Prescott. He never drew a rough breath from that day forward. Later, Dad transferred back to El Centro for a promotion, and thankfully Randy had grown out of his bronchial asthma and thrived in the desert air. Randy was an avid outdoor person and was always bringing home stringers of bass he caught in the local cattle ponds and catfish in the canals. As a family, we were always camping in the desert and in Mexico, where we all rode our motorcycles and searched for old Indian ruins and artifacts. Randy was always coming home with critters he had caught. He found out that a pet store in Portland, Oregon would pay for tarantulas, geckos, and rattlesnakes and other sorts. Suddenly, Randy was in the business. He would trap them and send them by U.S. mail, yes, U.S. mail, to Portland, Oregon. Of course, in the meantime, he was always keeping... What?
On the airlines.
It was on the airlines where his dad worked, but this was your dad's account. So
He wasn't truthful.
He's older and it's hard to remember sometimes as we get older.
He was there west.
Right. Maybe he thought he was going to get prosecuted. You know what I mean? When they can look back and maybe there was no statute of limitations, he thought. As a family, we were always camping in the desert and in Mexico, where we all rode our motorcycles and searched for old Indian ruins and artifacts. Randy was always coming home with the critters. Okay, so Larry messed me up. Okay,
That's my
so
job.
we'll do this. Thank you, Larry. Okay, of course, in the meantime, he was always keeping some of the critters at home. There was the time he caught a snake and he kept it in a cage in his bedroom. One day, it got out and came crawling across the kitchen floor. After we got his mother off the kitchen table, he was no longer permitted to keep them in the house. So I made a home for them in the storeroom off the patio. That, however, came to an end when a rattlesnake got loose in the storeroom. Randy graduated from Imperial High School in the town of Imperial where we lived. After he was out of school, he went to work for a local car dealer where he worked until after the family moved to Antioch. He later rejoined the family there. You guys tried to move away from him, didn't you?
Tried, didn't work.
You left him there. After the construction company where Dad worked went out of business, his dad started a construction company of his own with Randy and Larry, his brother. We named the company 3B Construction. 3B Construction did well in the early years, and Randy became the flooring installer of the company until Dad retired and moved to Oregon in 1999. Randy continued in the construction business until work became hard to come by, at which time he went to work posting billboards. Randy was a loving, caring, energetic man who loved to work in his well-equipped garage and was well known around the area as the guy who could fix anything and would always be there to help anytime, day or night. Randy passed away on August 14th, 2014 with his family and friends surrounding his bedside. Randy will be sorely missed by his family and his friends. Randy and I have been friends for 34 years. When we met, I had a Jeep and went four-wheeling into remote camping and fishing spots in the Sierras. And it seems like yesterday when a mutual friend named Mark Worley said to me, I have a friend who also has a Jeep and he loves to fish and four-wheel too. Mark introduced Randy and I, and a friendship began that day. Soon after we met, I came to know his brother Larry and his mom and dad. Since then, a bond started to form between the Byers family, my wife Kelly and I, and in fact, we became part of their family and vice versa. Larry, Randy's brother, worked with me on billboards for many years until becoming a building inspector for Contra Costa County. Randy and I worked together in the building trade on some jobs. With his father and brother, they owned 3B Construction until their father, Dwayne, retired. Randy was one of those people that could do anything. And believe me, Randy had his way, he would do anything. Randy always came up with a solution to any problem. He would take control and not take "we can't do it" for an answer. In 1988, I bought a Jeep, and Randy insisted on helping me when I put a lift kit on it. We were having a problem getting some of the parts to fit, and Randy, being Randy, said, you know what, I have a solution. I know how to fix it. And Randy got out his torch. He did make it fit. And when he was done, I had to order new bushings for the front end. I kept telling him, Randy, it's on fire. And he kept saying, no, it's only the grease that's burning. And he actually was right. It was the grease burning. However, the grease lit the bushings on fire. From then on, I never allowed him to use a torch around